Okay, today we're going to talk about ratios. Ratios are a comparison between two things that are similar. I can use ratios to compare two of the items in this picture. So let's say that I wanted to compare circles to squares. The first thing I would have to do would be to count how many circles I have and how many squares. Circles, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. And squares, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, when we do our comparison, we always have to make sure that we do them in the order that we were asked. We were asked to do circles to squares, which means our comparison, circles has to come before the squares. So 4 has to come before 6. There's 3 different ways to write a ratio. You can write it in words, circles to squares, 4 to 6. You can write it with a colon, 4 colon 6, which we still read as 4 to 6, or you can write it to look like a fraction, 4 over 6, which we also read as 4 to 6. So 3 different ways, words, colon, or fraction, are how we describe a ratio. You'll notice that one of the versions for ratio is a fraction. Because we're doing a comparison with numbers, we can also simplify just like we did with fractions. So we look at both our numbers, 4 and 6. We find the greatest common factor, which in this case is 2. And I can use that to simplify no matter which version I've written. So 4 to 6 is going to become 2 to 3. 4 colon 6 is going to become 2 to 3. And 4 over 6 is also going to become 2 to 3. What this means is that for every 2 circles we have, there are 3 squares. 2 circles and 3 squares. 2 circles and 3 squares. Let's look at a different comparison. Still using circles and squares, let's do it in a different order. The order in a ratio really does matter. Our first order was circles to squares, so this time let's do squares to circles. Squares to circles. Same numbers, but we're going to write them in a different order. Squares goes first this time. So 6 to 4, 6 to 4, and 6 to 4. We need to simplify these as well, making it 3 to 2, 3 to 2, and 3 to 2. Now, even though we basically simplify just like we do with fractions, we do not change this fraction into a mixed number. We're still just dealing with a comparison. It just looks like a fraction. Now, I can see some other things that we could do with these shapes in comparisons. We could do circles to total shapes. When we're dealing with total shapes, our circles in this problem is still going to be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 circles. But our total shapes is going to be all the shapes that I see on my screen, including the circles that I've already counted. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You'll notice that I always list out the 2 things that I'm talking about first, because it makes sure that I won't make any errors when I'm trying to count. If I make my list first, then that makes it easier for me to now write my ratios. I'm looking at circles to total shapes, so circle comes first. That's going to be 4 to 10, 4 to 10, and 4 to 10. This one can also be simplified by 2, making my final simplified ratios 2 to 5, 2 to 5, and 2 to 5. That gives you the basic knowledge for how to write ratios based on comparing two different items.